Welcome back, class. How was the reading?
So good. I learned so much.
Great, good job. Remember I asked you to look at the subheadings in that reading. Did you notice them? The subheadings? They
Yes.
were those bolded at the start of each paragraph, right?
Yes.
Right, good. So, what we are going to do now is we are going to compare some of the things we've read in our reading. Um, we read about cultural differences, right?
Yes.
Yeah, great. We read about cultural differences with touch and space. So if we remember some of those reading or some of those subheadings, and I have them written down, we had gestures. And what is a gesture?
It's like a hand movement.
Yeah. Can you give me an example of a gesture?
So like the thumbs up.
Thumbs up, good. Or a point.
Or like okay.
Okay, yeah, very good. Those are all gestures. That's awesome. And then we had face. Face, which is pretty self explanatory, right? Face is just what your face looks like. We had eyes, where you are looking. We had touch. Touch. And what are some different words for touch? Maybe tap or nudge,
Oh, yes.
right? What are some other words? Can you think of one?
Like pat.
Pat.
Or...
Yeah, that's a very good one. And we also had space. So space would be whether we're sitting this close together or whether I'm sitting on the other side of the room and talking to you, right? That's the difference in space. So, we are going to compare all of those differences with differences we might find in gender. For example, men and women have differences in touch as well, right?
Right.
I wrote down a chart that looks something like this. Make sure you can actually see it. That looks something like this, and I want you guys to copy down this chart. That way we can compare some of these differences. Great. Good job. So, let's go ahead and maybe do one together. Remember, we are using what we just learned from the reading and your own cultural differences that you already know about. So maybe some of the tendencies with touch that you guys have in Japan, and we are comparing those with gender differences that you might know of or that you can assume. So let's try with gestures. So what were some of the cultural differences we read with gestures? Do you think you can remember some of them?
In Australia, it's rude to do the thumbs up.
Wow.
But in America, we do that all the time.
Interesting.
Or they do it all the time.
So Australia, no thumbs up. That's very interesting. Yeah, very interesting. And what about maybe with gender? That might be a little bit of a hard one. But what are some gestures that men might do that women don't do, or vice versa? Can you think of any?
I feel like maybe women wave more at each other than men do. Men kind of just do like the head nod.
That's really good. Yeah, women will wave more, maybe. They'll do, kind of a
Pageant wave.
yes, more princess wave. Yes, that's very good. So women wave, men, mostly nod. Is that what you were saying? Nod is to move your head up and down. That's a nod. Nod is N-O-D. Good. So this is what I have so far. And that's great. So you guys did an awesome job coming up with some of those differences. And now I want you to fill out the rest of the chart on your own. And after you're done, we'll get into partners and we will talk about what we have, okay? So go ahead and on your own, see if you can fill out some of the rest of the chart, and then we'll come back together. Alright, so now I want you to go ahead and get into partners, and you're going to discuss what you have and see if maybe we can fill in anything that might be missing. So it looks like we don't have enough people to get into partners, so me and you can work together today.
Okay.
So what did you put for face?
Well, in Japan, women will hide their smiles when they smile, but the men don't do that. Oh. And that's also a cultural difference because in America, women smile freely.
Oh, that's very interesting. Yes, have you noticed that since you've been in America that women will smile a lot more than in Japan?
Yes.
Yes. That's very interesting. And great. So now we are going to come back together as a class and write down some of those things. So let's go back to face again. What did you say for gender differences?
That women will hide their smiles and men don't.
Good. Women hide their smiles. And that's in Japan, right?
Yes.
That's awesome. And men don't. How about in cultural differences for face? What did you get?
I kind of built off of that and said that in Japan, women hide smiles, but in America, women smile more freely. And they do it like when greeting and just more often.
So that's interesting that we have something that could be both a cultural difference and a gender difference.
Yeah.
And we can see that there are a lot of differences with touch that you may not even think about between both cultures, between different countries, and even between different genders, right?
Right.
So women in America smile freely. Good, just like that. And we're going to take, I'd like to ask if anyone else has anything else for eyes next? For eyes. And then we'll fill in the rest of the chart together as a class.